to those accordingly. Thank you for showing up today, Mitsubishi Aircraft Corporation. We're excited to be here again. Regional RAA is a very important conference for us. Regional aviation in the United States, is very important to us, and we know it's very important to you as well. Today our speaker is going to be Alex Bellamy and Nelson Jabor from customer support. So if you're ready, guys, we can get ready to get things going. Thank you.
So I was told we're the last slot before lunch, so we'll try and wrap it up just on time. So I'm going to talk today about transforming the opportunity in regional travel. Our purpose, as Jeff said, is to support the RAA, and that's why we're here. We've brought one of the biggest teams we've ever brought, and you'll see that we're also a diamond sponsor this year. We flew many people here from Japan, and that I think shows our commitment to both this market and the customers who operate in this market. So I'm going to start by talking about Mitsubishi Aircraft Corporation today. Everybody knows the story of the last 10 years, and 3.5 years ago we weren't sure that we would be here today. We had a very challenging situation in the company, and we had to make emergency decisions in order to turn the program around. Many of those decisions are only just beginning to yield results today, and we're beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel. We did a major structural reform to the company. We moved from a classic traditional organization into a performance-based organization, introducing things such as the integrated product team to improve integration across our many employees. We also went out to the market and looked for the best people available to put into the leadership roles. The leadership roles are the most critical roles in the company, bringing the correct mindset, and again, integrating the people between our different locations and our different divisions. It's so easy to build a silo in a large organization. It's extremely difficult to break it down again. The good news is we have a team that's both running the M90 and able to focus on our future. The last few years we've been looking at our product portfolio. Clearly, the product portfolio we had no longer met the market demand. The MRJ90, the MRJ70, in particular for North America, was no longer a product which we would see selling in great volumes. We introduced the M100, and we'll talk more about that later. If we're to talk a bit about the M90 and the program itself, this is the most foundational program. It's very important to us for many reasons. The first one, of course, is acquiring type certificate and delivering to the first customer. But as well, we're developing the bilateral agreement. The bilateral agreement is an agreement between the FAA and the Japanese authority, the JCAB. This will allow the JCAB to certify Part 25 aircraft with just a validation program globally. So it's very, very important for both Japan and the United States, a relationship that we're successful in achieving this goal. Without the bilateral agreement in place, we'll be unable to quickly certify a next product. So both achieving the first type certificate and the bilateral agreement are of equal importance through the M90 program. Through this year, we've been doing many certification tests. We have both the JCAB and the FAA flying on our aircraft. We've been growing in terms of the number of things we've been doing. You see a few of the examples here. An aircraft Ford has recently returned from Tucson, Arizona, having done some certification hot weather work. It seems we get a lot of volunteers for the Tucson trip. We'll have to cut the numbers down. The cold weather trip in the winter, we're still struggling to get the volunteers up. That's a joke for my own benefit. So let's talk a little bit about Paris Air Show. So Paris Air Show, big success for us this year. We launched the M100 and major momentum post Paris Air Show. We launched our new product family name, that's SpaceJet, and we thank the team for coming up with this. Why are we called SpaceJet? Well, it's quite straightforward. We have the most space on the aircraft for the passenger. We signed an MOU with a North American customer. 3 days later, the number of people who visited our chalet was well beyond expectations. The feedback was incredible, and everyone is so excited. I'm not going to talk too much. You'll see our cabin mock-up on the 3rd floor where you can take a look for yourselves, and we welcome your feedback. We've also seen a significant surge in customer activity post the Paris Air Show. So if there's any airlines in the room, I would say sign up now. I suppose I have to say that, but that would be my advice. Let's talk about the SpaceJet M100. It's a clean sheet design based on the M90. It's responsive to the customer needs, and it's perfect for both the US and the global markets. We listened very carefully to customers on what they want. We spent a lot of time with our design team visiting customers to optimize different pieces to improve their operational flow, their cost, but their revenue potential as well. So this was very important to us to establish a collaborative, working together partnership with the airlines who will use the product for the next 30 years. And we think that makes the product better, we think that makes our partnership better, and we think it makes the relationships grow. We truly believe that this product will redefine the future of regional travel. Mainline comfort for regional travelers. We plan, with the name SpaceJet, not just to give you as much space as a mainline aircraft. Space is shrinking in general, but we will give you more space. We'll have the widest seats and the largest overhead bins in class. Yamamoto-san here, my colleague, we were short of models for the photo shoot. She has taken up the modeling position. And she is in an economy class seat, and you can see just how much space there is available. Again, I welcome you to come visit us on the 3rd floor, and you'll see that for yourselves. One RAA exclusive, when she took the photo, she actually had no shoes on, we photoshopped them in. Write that down. One bag per passenger, so changing the way the regional industry works. Gate check. Who here likes gate check? Nobody likes gate check. Why not? Because we leave our bag at the top of the gate, they very kindly walk it through the rain, put it on the aircraft, and we fingers crossed we see it again at the other end, and it's always a bit of a lottery. We want to kill gate check. One bag per passenger, one roller bag per passenger. What does this mean? Well, this means for the passenger, peace of mind. My bag is next to me in the space that we have provisioned. I'm comfortable in my seat. If I have a tight connection, and most people traveling on a regional aircraft end up with a tight connection, then I can just get my bag and go straight to my connecting gate. It means I'm going to miss less flights, it means less operational issues for the airline, and it means more on-time reliability. And speaking of on-time reliability, I'd like to hand over now to Nelson of Customer Support. What I would say is I've talked a lot about product. You only buy the product once, but the support lasts a lifetime. So getting the support element right is absolutely critical. Nelson.
Thank you so much, Alex. So I am Nelson Jabur, I'm the customer support responsible. So I'm very happy to be here and delighted to be here in the RAA conference. So customer support, setting a new standard, that's our goal. That's our goal for this industry. So we know that people are at the heart of the success of any customer support organization. The Mitsubishi Aircraft Corporation has focused its efforts over the past 12 months in assembling a diverse team of the best industry experts from programs around the world. As a result, we have built a global leadership team with an average of over 25 years relevant aviation experience. So I'd like to introduce you two of them. Nicola McCarroll. She is responsible for the service readiness and integration for the customer support. And Rinaldo Araújo, responsible for the maintenance support and service. Thank you so much. This influx of talents has been at the core of the team's rapid transformation, like Alex has said, and a key factor in reaching customer support milestones for a successful M9 entering service consistently ahead of schedule. This global expertise complements the foundations of Japanese artistry and exceptional build quality which set us apart from the competition. Our focus is to drive down operational costs. We understand that the airlines operate in a highly competitive environment. We meet regularly with our customers who have the highest standards, and we actively implement their feedbacks to further enhance our reliability, maintainability, and customer support processes. We are delivering, as an example, we are delivering the most connected and integrated aircraft in its class to drive maximum operational availability. A cost-efficient aircraft should not come at the expense of the passenger comfort. Our aim is to provide a global approach with a regional focus for outstanding operational support. But how do we plan to do this? We know that to be responsive, we must position our footprint around the globe. We have infrastructure already fully established in Japan with an enhanced process in place. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries has recently expressed intention to acquire the CRJ program, which also will allow an early acceleration of infrastructure around the world, as well key talent in the industry. We cannot speak further on the details at this time due to the regulations. We understand from speaking to airlines and operators that the fundamentals of customer support success is good communication, fully integrated systems, and robust inventory and logistics control to provide excellent dispatchability. As you can see from the picture in the screen, the full flight simulator to our launch customer, ENA, is installed, much ahead of schedule. Ultimately, customers want their planes flying. The mission statement for Mitsubishi Customer Support is very simple. Ready, we have a strong, innovative customer support MITAC team with significant experience. Receptive, we listen and we engage. Responsive, we are proactive, anticipate, and we are ready to respond. We aim to be a market disruptor, and we have a team in place to allow us to realize a competitive edge so that we can stay ahead of the game and bring something entirely new to the market. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Nelson. And now I guess what we'd like to do is open up if there's any questions. Again, we'd like to please state the name of your publication and your name, and then the question. Thank you. Any questions? Yes, sir. You appeared in the glasses.
Let's talk about the bilateral a little bit more, and what that does, and ultimately where that stands in the context of ensuring that you can do a derivative that isn't, you're not doing a second clean sheet.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And so right now, Japan, with the United States regulator, the FAA, only has a bilateral agreement for Part 23. So for Part 25, any aircraft that's certified in Japan cannot just be a simple validation program. It needs to be a much longer and more considerable program to certify the product with the FAA. So part of the beginning goal of the MRJ program, as it was called back then, was to develop both the commercial aircraft, but also to increase and expand the capabilities of the JCAB to allow them to certify Part 25 aircraft. with the BASA finished, as it's called. That allows Japan to do its own determination of compliance for TC, and for a traditional validation program then to sit on top of that. So a classic FAA validation or a classic EASA validation. Kind of identical to certifying a product in Europe, and then the FAA does validation on top of it. So same style. It's really important to us to make sure that BASA is correctly done, because that then allows us to work straight with the JCAB on the next product. So we can go straight for a derivative style and do a classic validation on top. It's very important.
And do you have to have a solid JCAB and FAA certified M90 before you can get the BASA?
That's, I think, in discussion. For the framework, no. For the final determination, yes. The FAA is doing something called a shadow program right now. So they're monitoring the JCAB and marking off by ATA chapter, giving them sign-off effectively by ATA chapter. They're able to determine compliance in a safe way that meets the regulations. So chapter by chapter, so as we certify the aircraft chapter by chapter, the sign-off will happen in parallel. Does that answer your question?
And by the way, that was John Ostrower. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, Edward Russell with Point Sky.
Perfect.
I see the current delivery timeframes around 2024 for the M100. What makes you confident that U.S. scope clauses will still have the same 76-seat, 86,000 pound restrictions by 2024 that they do today?
That's another excellent
question. And so, working with all of the potential customers and existing customers to talk about that very topic, we've done a couple of things. Number one is we've spoken carefully with the customers. What do they think they're going to see through the time frame? And most customers tell us they see limited change. We're in a very unique position, I think, with scope clauses. Historically, each airline had a different scope clause, so there was some competitive advantage for an airline to negotiate their scope clause. Today, they all sit at the same point, 76 seats, 86,000 pounds. So the competitive disadvantage has gone away. We also know that the pilots, there's a global pilot shortage. Economics tells us that they have greater bargaining power overall. So seeing the airlines negotiating on this point, probably the chances of that are lower because of that phenomenon. But from a design point of view, we can't rely on those pieces. We have to make sure we have a design which is robust both to scope and non-scope environments. The design point of the aircraft is 76-seat, triple class. We also have room to grow it if scope clause changes without significant reconfiguration. And in a single class configuration, we can get up to 88 seats. This is very appealing to European operators too. So many factors, I think. We don't see significant change in scope, but we also see the product as being both resilient to today's environment and a future environment. And then let's talk about the M200 as well. So following on from the M100, the plan is to launch the M200, which is up to 100 seats, which is the slightly larger variant. So a couple of thoughts from us on scope and how our products fit nicely in today's market environment.
Follow-up.
Oh, sure.
Sorry if you've already mentioned this, but what is the fuel burn savings for the M100 compared to like the current E175?
Okay.
Do you have a percentage or a target or? Yeah.
Yes, double digit.
Double digit.
Yeah.
Craig Organ from Regional Horizons. You mentioned the M200 there. You said that is to be launched after the M100 has gone into service, or at some? What's your time frame on that?
So we don't have a formal time frame to publish. Once we're up the curve on the M100 development, as the resources begin to move, we'll look at the M200 timing. Nominally 1 to 2 years after is what we're thinking as a provisional timeline, but not formalized yet.
It's still under market study as well, so that's something we're looking into. Yes, sir.
Scott Hamilton, Green News.
Thank you.
talk about product support and the acquisition of CRJ. Mitsubishi and Boeing had an agreement at one point for product support. Boeing, of course, now is joining with Embraer. A little bit of conflict of interest on Boeing's part, at the very least, to support EJet and Mitsubishi. How's all that shaping up?
So we do have a services agreement with Boeing Global Services, and that is current today. They are helping us on many items related to the entry into service of the M90. I think we should ask a question for Nelson. Has anybody got a great customer support question?
Difficult questions.
How about this? I'm Kelly Murphy, Aviation for Women magazine. So you recently opened up an North American facility in Renton, correct? Will some corporate support come out of that facility?
So what we have there in rental is a technical publications team. We have plans to really evolve to something else. And definitely rental is a very important place in terms of aviation. So there's a lot of good people there, talented people there.
All the customer service side. You've got, you can't talk about the status of your purchase of the CRJ program. It's obviously having at the NHI level. But is it ultimately your strategic intention to have that fully integrated customer services and manufacturing side of things rolled into NETOC as the owner of what MHI is ultimately requiring?
So I think, and as you say quite rightly, we can't talk about it in a lot of detail, just because it's at an MHI parent company level and we're a subsidiary company with other shareholders. I think the final structure is still under consideration, but we can see quite clearly, I think, we've built a really strong customer support team leadership. And I think there's really two elements to customer support. I think there's the bit that the customer ultimately sees, which is where we're parts and hands-on and logistics. But there's the bit the customer never sees, which is the thought and detail which goes into the aircraft design up front, making sure that the systems are resilient, making sure that the way we understand the aircraft works is the best in class, and then making sure that we have the logistics systems downstream which support the whole infrastructure, network, and ecosystem. We've spent a lot of time and really thankful to Nelson and his team building the best customer support team that can be hired. What's fantastic about it, I think, is we've hired people from across the globe, from every customer support system, people who understand how it's done everywhere else. And we've been able to make a one-team concept integrating all of those best pieces. And you can see the diversity in our team just in the room here. And we have an extremely diverse team of Japanese, Brazilian, Canadian, American, Europeans, who once they get over the communication and multiple languages, and some people like coffee breaks at 10 o'clock, some people like coffee breaks at 8 o'clock, we get through those pieces. We have a really strong team, and we're very happy with the M100 customer support team. I can see it's only going to grow and get better.
How confident are you now with the to deliver the M90 to ANA next year?
Yeah, we have good confidence. And the part we've really been focusing on, so you've seen about the TC, the part we've really been focusing on is pilot training, maintenance training, cabin crew training, and the setup of the logistics system. So where are we going to provision the parts around Japan and the rest of the ANA network?
So I'd like to thank everybody. I guess if there's no more questions, we will be here. The customer support team is here, obviously, to speak with customers and things like that. But members of the media, if you guys would have some additional questions, please contact me, and I'll be more than happy to set up some time with Nelson and Nicola and Ronaldo to go over any other additional questions that you may have. I think one other important thing to note is that the customer support team is here to further our efforts and to speak with customers. They've already been doing so, and we've received a lot of really good feedback. So thank you all, and please stop by the booth. We've got a couple good things today. Alex, did you want to potentially talk about anything else happening today?
I was going to mention that we have a beer call at 5 o'clock at our sharply, so that got everyone's attention.
Good.
Thank you very much.